Good morning. In 2023, Standard & Poor's analyzed the global mining industry. They wanted to learn country by country how long it takes to open a mine. Resource discovery to production averages over 15 years across the world. The biggest chunk of time, 11.9 years, is in the surveying, prospecting, and feasibility studies. It takes another 18 months on average to decide whether to build a mine or not. And once that's all done, getting the mine up and running is another 2+ years. S&P surveyed 127 mines across the world to get these data. And when we look at the table here, we Americans are encouraged. We're at 13 years for average lead time. So at first glance, it seems easier and faster to get a new mine open in the United States than even in China, which takes an average of over 15 years. We're even faster than African countries. S&P explains why this is. There is one U.S. mining project in the survey, the Eagle nickel and copper mine in Michigan, which pulled down the average time across the U.S. data. Eagle's lead time was just 12 years. But the Eagle Mine project was an outlier, and it's not fooling anyone. The United States is famous for being a mishmash of federal and local rules and jurisdictions, and just getting the permits for a U.S. mine takes much longer than almost anywhere else. S&P only surveyed mines that have come online, so any projects that are being stalled, they aren't showing up here at all. Two examples of that: Donlin was discovered 35 years ago and still is not yet online. Back 40 was 23 years ago. And Eagle isn't going to be a producing mine for much longer anyway. It's scheduled for closure in 2027. The United States itself is an outlier in another respect, in that our political and legal systems make it impossible to attract long-term capital. Most of the United States is uninvestable, no matter who's president, because nobody has any idea who the next president will be, or the next state governor. That's the political side, and new administrations just undo everything the previous one did. This is from Minnesota. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers revoked a permit for a mine in northwest Minnesota because the permit did not comply with water quality standards from a sovereign downstream Indian tribe. In 2019, that was in the first Trump administration, the Corps granted the company the permit. Then in 2021, Joe Biden is in charge now, the Corps of Engineers changed their mind at the request of the EPA. Then they held a public hearing. Officials from the tribe said that the mine would violate its water quality regulations, which are stricter than the state of Minnesota's. The EPA agreed and recommended that the Corps of Engineers pull the permit, and the mine project got shut down before it even got started. I'm an American citizen, and I didn't know this was a thing, that an Indian tribe downstream of a project can pass a new clean water regulation for their tribal area, then file a lawsuit to shut down anything upstream of them. Don't want to give anyone any ideas, but conceivably, could they do the same thing for air quality? I didn't know that state law trumped federal, and that tribal law can trump state and federal law, and shut businesses down that aren't even on their land. Here's one of the lawyers, Chris Knopf, who said, "This is a milestone determination. This kind of mining does not belong in an area with so much water." Okay, you do need a lot of water to mine, and other lawyers out west are shutting down mines there because there isn't enough water. But he's right about this being a milestone determination. The precedent is set. It's established law now for an Indian tribe. They can simply change a local ordinance and shut down mining operations anywhere upstream or upwind of where they are. Does that also go for any neighborhood or city or any town or county? Can they just enact a more restrictive water quality regulation and shut down an industry in another jurisdiction? Nobody knows, but you can bet that they're going to try. And if you're a potential investor, you're already wondering what happens when this administration which is mining friendly and development friendly, isn't in office anymore. But you've got a lot more to worry about than that. Friends of the Boundary Waters Wilderness has just built a template for every single environmental law firm nationwide to do what they just did in Minnesota. Here is Minnesota again, and here is Joe Biden again. In 2023, the Department of Interior blocked mining for a big chunk of Minnesota for 20 years. Antofagasta is a Chilean mining company that bought the mining rights there, invested millions to do more surveying work, only to have the entire region declared off limits until 2043. All that in mind, the Trump administration issued a series of executive orders that are meant to stimulate mineral production in the United States. He exercised presidential powers in the Defense Production Act, which is a law that gives the president broad discretion to exercise authority over industry and economic policy and direct them to national security priorities. The DPA does not require an act of Congress, in other words. This is the executive order from President Trump, and we see that many parts of this order involve the Defense Department, the Secretary of Defense. Within 10 days, the White House wants a list of all the projects that have already submitted operations plans and applications for federal permits. The high priority projects out of those are going to be fast-tracked for approval. Also within 10 days, an inventory of mineral deposits and reserves on federal lands. Within 30 days, the Secretary of Defense, Interior, Agriculture, and Energy shall identify the sites on federal lands that are suitable for development, emphasizing the sites which can be brought online as soon as possible. Within 30 days, prepare loans and working capital to domestic companies, and also within 30 days to establish a mineral production fund. Those are both Defense Department orders again. All of this news was immediately celebrated by the National Mining Association. The faster and transparent permitting processes with the promised money can challenge China. Made in America means mined in America. We started in Minnesota, so we'll go back. President Trump's new executive orders may boost efforts for copper, nickel, and cobalt mining there. Trump's EOs specifically prioritize mining on federal lands, which include this national forest. So these executive orders don't really involve the other mines in Minnesota that were blocked by the previous administration or by lawsuits. The Biden White House put a 20-year ban on mining in the Superior National Forest, while Trump has said he's going to repeal that, which he's allowed to do. But we've already seen that the next president can just repeal his repeal. And even now, the Trump administration does not have the final word. Mining in Minnesota is subject to state and local rules. And don't forget, there's at least one Indian tribe in Minnesota that's above even the White House. What do we need? What do Americans need to develop our own rare earths metals industry, to build out the mines and the refineries and reshore the production of all these metals and minerals? We need lots of time and lots of money, patient money. We need companies and investors with a very long-term horizon of commitment. What can we possibly say to investors in those companies to give them any confidence at all that this time is different, when we know deep down that nothing's going to change? S&P Global is a resource for global investors, and they have to disclaim the data sets in their own report to warn their subscribers to ignore what their own survey says about opening a new mine in the United States. 12 years just to do the surveying work. How many administrations are going to come and go before we even know whether the mine should open at all? The reality is that you're crazy to even think about it. This is Genuine, ancient town in Guizhou. Be good.
We pray that you bring mentors and disciples, family, to lead us the way, to show us to be better Christians, stronger believers, to encourage us and to love us. Give us good teachers. Give us strong ministers who remind